In 2026, I'm grabbing my pen.
I was going to say something similar. I was just going to say putting pen to paper.
In 2026, I'm letting it go.
In 2026, I explain nothing.
Welcome to Millennial, the home of pretend adulting and real talk. I'm Andrew.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Pamela. And what we're kicking off this week to keep all of you appraised about, what the latest stories are on the global political American stage is kicking off this new segment called the Dumpster Fire Corner. So in the Dumpster Fire Corner at the top of each week, we're going to be highlighting one or maybe two stories that are really big in the news right now that you've probably heard about at home, but are also feeling like, what the fuck does this even mean for me? And we just want to take a few minutes to chat through some of that. So this week for the Dumpster Fire Corner, we're going to talk about Greenland. That is still going on. The commander-in-chief of the United States, aka the toddler-in-chief, President Trump, is still going on about taking Greenland by military force, potentially. He also wrote a letter. I don't know if y'all saw this, but he wrote a letter to the Norwegian prime minister saying that since he didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize, he doesn't care too much about peace anymore.
I mean, that was shocking and has really shaken the world in different ways, including one you're going to bring up in a minute or two.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, just the implication there is that since he didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize, he actually doesn't care about peace anymore. He's willing to go to war over Greenland.
That's also violent, that's inciting language.
Yeah.
So then what are we supposed to, what are those nations supposed to think when they read that? Of course they're sending troops just in case.
Inciting language. Has he had a history of any language that might incite people to do something?
Right?
Yeah.
Never Trump. I just think it's I hate to say this, but it's like one thing when he uses it against Americans, when he's pitting it against people in this country. It's another thing when he's trying to start a fucking war with NATO allies.
I would never expect this from the winner of the FIFA Peace Prize. Shame on you, sir.
Well, and see, that's the funny thing. It feels like the world stage is just trying to placate this monster and be like, here, FIFA invented a whole new prize just for you. And then the actual winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, the Venezuelan opposition leader, Machado, gave her Nobel Peace Prize to him, even though it's okay. It's like
you can't give it to people.
It's like if I gave my diploma to somebody else and was like, here you go, you have it now. It doesn't confer anything. So I really think the rest of the world is just there is a toddler who has his finger on the red button, and we just have to don't make any sudden movements. We don't want to upset the toddler.
Laura, come to think of it, as a college dropout, I would really like your diploma. Just mail it to me and let me see how it makes me feel. And then maybe I'll understand what Trump is feeling when he got presented the Nobel Peace Prize.
You could mount it on your wall because,
there you go.
It's only official if you tack it up.
Right. What are you going to do?
Perfect spot.
Andrew, what would you do with a master's in applied linguistics? Probably the same thing I'm doing with it, which is nothing. But anyway, in continued dumpster fire land, global markets are tumbling today as well because this idiot won't shut the fuck up. He's basically threatening to levy even more tariffs against several EU member states because they're not getting on board with his Greenland plan. So don't look at any of your investments today. Probably not a good call. Andrew, I know you probably did, but
No, I
not?
didn't. Here's what I do. I look at the Apple Stocks app, and if it's in the red, I don't look at my Fidelity app.
Smart.
That's how
That's really smart. Don't look at any of that shit right now. It's just going to make you want to vomit. Public support for an armed invasion of Greenland is really low, 17%, really raising the question, why is he dying on this hill when public support for it is so low, given how infatuated we know this guy is with polling and viewership numbers and just numerical indications of success. Why is he still wanting to die on this hill? I think it's something that rhymes with Schmepstein that he doesn't want anybody talking about.
And he can never admit when he's wrong, and he can
No.
never reverse course. Once he takes a stance, he sticks with it. So I think that's a big factor too. But speaking of numbers, there was a report that came out of a German study that revealed that the brunt of U.S. tariffs, 96%, have been paid by U.S. buyers. Now, we all knew already, in fact, it's in our current album art, that tariffs are a tax on Americans. But now there's been this study putting a specific number of it. So 96% of the tariffs have been paid by U.S. buyers, while just about 4% of the tariff burden was paid by foreign exporters. So in other words, Americans are not benefiting from this virtually at all.
No, again, to your point, we knew they wouldn't. But on top of all of this is this, I think, ever-present question of like, I feel like Congress is just literally sitting in the cuck chair at this point, just like letting this happen. It is crazy to me that nobody has stepped forward with any substantive plans, whether it's impeachment or the 25th Amendment, because bare minimum, regardless of what you think of his politics, the cheese is sliding off the cracker. I think if you watched any of his press briefing today, on the day that we're recording this podcast, this is the 1-year anniversary of his second inauguration. Typically, what that is for the president to showcase all of the awesome work they did in the first year. And that's not really what happened today. It was a lot of blaming Biden for things that are still problems, even after this man's been in office for a full year, and showing off these like really weird glossy photocopies of people who've allegedly been apprehended by ICE in Minnesota, and like teasing updates potentially about Greenland. I think at one point he was asked, do you still have a plan on this? And he said, you'll just have to wait and see, or like you'll see, or something like that. Like really acting like he's still on the Celebrity Apprentice.
I was going to say, I can't believe it's just 1 year. That's insane.
I know.
Like, part of me just flinched when Laura said we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary. It's like, it hasn't been at least 2.
No, it just feels like 10.
It's a lot. It's a lot for a year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll definitely keep an eye on all of this and on everything that's happening with ICE here in the States. We've, of course, talked about ICE quite a bit last week, but there will be more to come for our Dumpster Fire Corner, just to keep y'all informed on some of the latest.
Yeah. Well, in some lighter news, the three of us have been working on handwritten letters for our Bay and Higher pals. They are all finished now, so they're going to be hitting mailboxes soon. They all came back to me today, and I opened up the letters to make sure they all arrived in one piece. And the one on top was a doodle by Pam for one of our listeners. And oh my God, it was a work of art. I was like, damn, we should hang this in the Louvre. This is really nice.
Wow.
Good job, Pam.
High praise.
My
Thank
doodles
you.
are nothing like Pam's doodles. So if you get a Pam letter, you're in luck.
And I think just worth mentioning, just as a plug, the letter does come with a little extra something special.
It does. A digital bonus.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'll
We
see
had
what
a lot
it
of
is
fun
when
with that one.
We did. We were LMAOing
Yeah,
while recording
we
it.
really were.
This show is brought to you by listeners like you. By supporting us over at patreon.com/millennial, you can get instant access to lots of perks, including After Dark. And coming up this week in After Dark, we're going to have a little behind-the-scenes conversation reflecting on 11 years of this show, because believe it or not, this show is 11 years old, which is wild to think about. But we're going to talk about maybe some things that we've talked about either on the main show or even behind our paywall that maybe in retrospect we wouldn't have brought those things up at all. We're going to talk about some of the things that we're really glad that we did with the show and some of the things that maybe we wish we had done with the show. So it'll be a nice personal look into the history of the podcast. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, the show's birthday is this month.
Yeah.
We turn 11 this month. 12 seasons, 11 years. Pretty crazy. I almost said 11 episodes. That we add a 0 or 2 to that, and that's how many episodes
There we go.
we've probably done. We also recorded a new roll call, catching up on our weekends And I shared with Laura and Pam that someone in my life is watching Heated Rivalry, who I really wish was not watching the show. So that was a fun moment. Roll call is where we call the other two in the group here by surprise, and we shoot the shit for a little while. So that's always a good time as well.
If you're looking for other ways to help us out, you can always wear your love by visiting shop.millennialshow.com to grab official show gear. We'd also appreciate it if you told a fellow millennial about the show, and make sure you're following us in your favorite podcast app.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about some recent social media trends, including 2016 and not explaining yourself. We'll be right back. So before we get into a deeper dive on the first meme of 2026, I wanted to check in on the 2016 trend. Did you two see this over the last week? Basically, people were just posting photos of themselves from 2016.
Yeah.
10 years ago. It was interesting to me for two reasons. One, I don't remember at the start of recent years people posting photos of themselves from, let's say, 10 years ago. So last year they weren't posting photos from 2015 and so on and so forth. What's interesting to me about people deciding to go with 2016 is that I think a lot of people would agree 2016 was the last good year in American history.
Yeah.
It truly all went downhill from there. I've joked on the show over the years that the last good thing that happened in the world was Pokemon Go. And that was the summer of 2016. We all were outside catching Snorlaxes. It was wonderful. We were all enchanted with Pokemon Go. And then, Trump was lurking in the shadows. He was coming up in the polls, but we didn't think he would actually win. And then, of course, in November, Laura and I hosted a Millennial event in D.C. and Trump won. And, well, I haven't been happy since then.
Yeah, that was definitely a womp womp moment, because we really thought, because we rented out a space at a local bar. We had a bunch of listeners come and join us, and we really thought we were there to celebrate. And it ended with, if I recall correctly, a Japanese camera crew for a news show that airs over there coming in and trying to interview us about our reactions to what had happened. And I was like, I can't talk right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah. We're all covering our faces. No comment. No comment.
Yeah,
no comment,
I know.
paparazzi. Well, and what the core memory for me, Laura, about that night was walking home. We were in D.C., a very blue area, and we're walking back to our hotel room, and it was like 9/11 just happened. The streets were dead. Everybody was depressed. It was horrible.
All you could hear, because there was nobody out, but as you were walking, you would occasionally hear muffled sobs from people.
I shouldn't laugh, but
Oh my God.
It was
that
rough.
sounds awful.
Yeah,
it
was
really
awful.
was bad.
Yeah.
And then my dumbass, 2020, I don't have an election party because I was still too traumatized from the 2016 election party. Then November 2024, I got my friends here in town now. So I'm like, come over to watch Kamala win. And of course she loses. I am never hosting an election night party again.
Sounds like the moral
words.
of the story here is that, your election parties are bad luck.
No, I'm going to sit in the dark room. Might not even watch the TV anymore. I'm just going to, I'm going to pop some lorazepam and black out and wake up the next day and hopefully see some good news.
I went to bed early on the election night in 2016. I just couldn't stomach it anymore. I just chugged some Pepto-Bismol and rolled over.
Oh,
Good for you. Because, it definitely, we kind of knew earlier in the night the way this was going to go, but I think a lot of people were hanging on to hope late into the night because Hillary had not conceded yet. She didn't do that until the following morning. Still have so many vivid memories. I held it together until we got back to our hotel room, and then I ugly cried all night.
Yeah. Other than that, 2016 did have some good stuff happening, at least for me. In my Harry Potter life, The Cursed Child opened, and I went to the opening of that. I saw some great concerts that year, including Beyonce and Bruce. The Wizarding World Hollywood opened up. I got to go to the opening of that, and I was looking through my camera roll. I forgot that John Williams performed during the opening of Wizarding World Hollywood. Like, there were some really great moments. Laura, you, I, Elisa, and Matt, we did some, what's that called when you're like, it was like ziplining and climbing through trees.
Yeah, we went to this place in Maryland that allows you to do all of these like obstacle courses where you're walking across tightropes and riding on zip lines and doing all kinds of climbing and stuff. I think at the time we were like, this is like a millennial team bonding event. I remember 100%. We did a trust fall at some point. Somebody did.
I wonder who did. And if we did end up trusting the person after that, I don't know. If it was Matt, he may have let us fall to the ground.
I don't remember anybody falling.
Is the assessment accurate that 2016 was the last good year?
Yeah, I would say so.
I'm kind of kidding, but not.
I mean, personally, like I graduated grad school in 2016, and I got started pursuing my career. Like the podcast was going well. Things were feeling good. I think we still had that Obama era optimism going on at that time. Where I really started to feel concerned was when Brexit happened, because Brexit happened in the summer of 2016. And I was like, oh, fuck, if that happened, that might be a bad sign for things to come here in the U.S. And, then November happened.
You know what? I mentioned the cursed child. I was over in England during the whole Brexit debate, and I very proudly wore an I'm in sticker on my shirt because, the campaign was popping off like crazy during the summer. So it was very fun to be there while there was this hot debate happening about the future of England.
That had there were no ramifications for you specifically, so that probably helped make it even better.
Much. Pam, do you have fond memories of 2016?
I really can't remember 2016 as well as you all can. Clearly, I think I was still living in LA in 2016, so was probably overworking myself, but in a fun way, until the mental breakdown kicked in. But that might have been 2017, so it's fine.
Getting back to this 2016 trend, okay, so people have some great memories from 2016. That's awesome. It was the last good year in American history, in my opinion. But I think the real reason that people are sharing these photos is everybody looks hotter 10 years ago. Just everybody looks hot. I'm looking through all these 2016 photos. I'm like, y'all look like...
It's because the pandemic and Trump have aged us.
Yeah. And we've aged naturally, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
10 years ago.
But I just want to remind everybody that we all still look hot, and you'll look at photos of us taken today. You'll see them in the year 2036, and you'll be like, wow, I was so hot in 2026. It's all about perspective.
Well, that is also a good reminder to take photos, even if you don't feel your best, because you're right. You will at some point look back and be like, actually, I didn't look that bad.
Yeah.
So
it's a good live in the now reminder too.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
You don't realize what you have till it's gone.
What's that moment in Schitt's Creek where one of the characters says, you will look back on those photos with fonder, kinder eyes in the future?
I'm Googling.
Yeah.
One day you will look at those photos with much kinder eyes and say, dear God, I was a beautiful thing.
Yep.
Yeah, Laura, you nailed it. Yep. That's all of us looking at our 2016
Serious.
photos.
And I mean, I will confess, I think we're all subject to doing that. Like, I'll look at pictures of myself from 10 years ago and be like, why was I so hard on myself at that time? So it goes to your point, Andrew, to say, appreciate the now.
Yeah. Well, it also, I like that you bring that up, looking back at photos, because I think, at least I've looked back at, actually, 2015 was a really hard year for me professionally. I had screwed some things up, and, the state of California was trying to come after me for missing business filings and stuff like that. It was a really scary time. But, setting that aside, which is still, I find, very genuinely scary and worrying, you look back at photos and you're like, wow, it's funny, the things I was worrying about back then, they ultimately do not matter. And I'm sure we all have things that we worry about today that 10 years from now, we're going to be like, really? I was worried about that.
I know.
You know?
Yeah. No, that's a great reminder. Yeah, because I think we all have those things we're carrying with us probably right now that feel like a really big deal. And then, in a decade, we're going to be like, what?
Yeah. Do you two look back on your camera rolls? Like, would you go back to 2016 today? I don't really like looking back.
I don't have a lot of photos, like back photos on my phone, and it's because the phone I had before this didn't have the space for it. So I deleted a bunch of them. I don't have hardly anything past maybe 2022.
I like to look back, not because I want to go back, but because I like to remember how far I've come since that time.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes getting that visual memory of where you were and what things were like in life at that point remind you of everything that you've accomplished to get where you are today. So I like to reminisce for that reason.
Yeah. It can feel a little hard for me to look back because I'm just like, oh, those were the days. I really like what you're saying though, Laura, to let it remind you how far you've come. But yeah, I'm just like, I look back and I'm like, simpler times. When I look back at 2016, simpler times.
But I think you just need to reframe it because usually, like when I look back, like because I in my room I have some I have photos like through the years, so there probably is some stuff from 2016 there. And I just see it like not like, oh, those were the days. It's more like, oh, that was a really good time, you know? Like that was a really nice time. I'm glad that those and like it's always like people that are still in my life too. So it's like, oh, that was a really good time. I'm glad that person is still in my life, you know?
Yeah. What's that other phrase? Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened, or something like that. Also, just looking like at photos of Brooklyn when he was younger, or like friends who used to be in my life.
Yeah, it's tough when it's stuff like that for sure.
Yeah, I will confess, when I look back on older pictures of Canella, it can sometimes be a little shocking to see how much she's aged. Because in my mind,
so tough.
I see her every day.
She's a baby.
Yeah, she's always my baby.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I look back at old pictures of her from 10 years ago, she looks quite different.
Yeah.
And, this is like when, Andrew, you should be grateful that Brooklyn is a white dog because you don't see like the physical signs of aging. Like Jasper started getting so much like the gray hair, and he was like, he had some gray in him anyway, but I would look back and I'd be like, wow, you used to have brown around your eyes and now it's all white, you little old man.
Yeah. Or just to see them move differently or want to play differently.
Yeah, puttering
stuff like
around. Their bladder starts getting not so great.
Tell me about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I did ask you to think about none of us participated in this trend on social media in the last week. But if you were to, is there a particular photo you would definitely want to post from 2016?
Yes. It would be the photo of me flipping off then Speaker Paul Ryan's office at the Capitol the day before the election.
That was good. That was really good. I was there for that.
I think you took that.
Maybe I did. That took balls, Laura, to put up the finger in the freaking Capitol.
I mean, you're allowed. Listen.
But we were invited guests.
Whatever. Listen, like a few years after that, people were breaking windows and smearing shit all over the floors. So I think I'm okay.
Yeah. So for me, I mentioned going to Cursed Child. I went to the grand opening of Cursed Child, the very first preview performance. So nobody knew anything about it. With the Hypeable team, it was like 8 to 10 of us, I think. And we have a great photo from outside the theater. And this was before J.K. Rowling called out Hypeable for posting extremely mild spoilers behind, the appropriate spoiler warnings. So it was just kind of a wild week in England. And I just loved that photo with everybody from Hypeable. And it was just so exciting going to the show and having no clue what was going to be in, quote unquote, the 8th story. So yeah, that's one of my favorite memories from the year.
Nice. I just looked through my Dropbox specifically for this, and there's a couple of pictures for 2016. So I guess I would pick, there's this one, it's not even like anything I would ever post because, I don't I don't think I don't think I should condone like taking sneaky pictures of people you don't know. But my friend and I, my best friend and I, we were out for Halloween and we were a couple drinks in, and she was convinced that this guy at the bar looked like buff Evan Peters. Evan Peters was having a huge moment in 2016.
Yeah.
So there's this really funny picture that she took, and it's like a candid shot of me because I'm like dying laughing at this like mental image of buff Evan Peters. And then we're like convinced that it is actually buff Evan Peters. And then the next morning I remember looking at this photo and I'm like, that did not look anything like Evan Peters at all. So I just think that, yeah, it just is tied to a funny memory. So I guess I would post something like that.
Anybody who is posting photos from 2016, proudly, I say good on you. You were hot then and you're still hot now. So, Pam, we also wanted to talk about the first meme of 2026.
Yeah. So, in case you missed it, the first meme of the year has officially been born. And in true meme fashion, it happened by accident. So, basically, what happened was this unassuming TikTok user posted a video about how they were planning to rebrand in 2016 as like a better, or 2026. Now I got 2016 on the brain. They were planning to rebrand in 2026 to be like a better version of themselves. And under this video, a separate user named Tamara ended up accidentally going viral because she commented saying, quote, "I'm getting 365 buttons, one for each day, because I want to do more stuff and I'm scared of time, so I want to be more conscious of it." So this person was just sharing how they were also going to rebrand, and people had questions, a lot of follow-up questions for Tamara and her 365 buttons. And that's why that comment took off. But it wasn't even like the initial 365 buttons comment that really ended up becoming the meme. It was what she replied to a while later after fielding some of these questions from curious people that had seen her original comment. And so finally she put it to rest by saying, quote, "Hey, so it actually only has to make sense to me for me to do it, and I don't feel like explaining it to anyone else." So that's the bit that's gone viral. This is, for a lot of people, the energy they're saying they're bringing into the year. Like, doesn't matter if you don't get it, it makes sense to me. Tamara could not take the heat, I think, because her comments have since been deleted. And I think that the person that posted the original TikTok where these comments were housed probably felt the same way, because that video has also since been deleted too from the app. So that's where we're at.
Wow. Yeah, on the internet, there's a lot of pressure to always explain yourself. The more detailed you get on social media, the more people have to pick apart. And so when I'm trying to snipe at people on social media, I try to keep it as short as possible so they have less to work with.
Are you guys like in a phase in your life where you don't feel like you have to explain everything in general? Like, does Tamara have a point here?
Yes.
I'm at a point in my life where I'm trying to get better at not feeling like I have to explain everything. I can be a little bit of an over-explainer, and I'm really trying to be better about not doing that, because I think when you feel the need to over-explain something, you're also trying to justify yourself to other people, and that is a habit that I am trying to break. I've gotten a lot better at it. I've had a few good instances so far in the last couple of months where I've really been able to say, this is what I'm doing, and this is just it. And I'm not going to be backing that up with a bunch of personal anecdotes or anything like that. It is what it is. This is what I need.
Yeah, it's like no further questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's how I feel about, I've mentioned this before on the show, like questions about my dad, who I have not spoken to in a very long time at this point. It's like, why are you all asking? A. B, the answer has not changed. C, you know this. So, yeah, maybe I should start saying this too.
Don't you have those business cards that you were handing?
I do.
Out
I do. I haven't had to hand one out in a while, so I feel like they've done their duty.
I think to strangers, I don't think I have to explain myself, but I think people I know, and depending on the level of the relationship, it's worth explaining things so they know where you're coming from. But in terms of the internet, it's just, there's always going to be, even if Tamara explained herself lots more, people would still not be satisfied with her answer. They would pick apart, well, the buttons. Why are you moving the buttons from one corner of your desk to the other to signify time? It's just like, the internet is never happy. There will always be somebody. And I committed to this line of thinking a few years ago, and I haven't looked back as it pertains to internet commenters. You will never be able to make everybody happy, 100% of your audience happy. There's always going to be somebody bitching about something that we say on this show, or somebody's going to be displeased with your internet comment in this news article. It's just like, it's impossible to please everybody. So let it go.
Yeah.
Let them.
And I think especially if you have a post that goes viral, my rule would be I'm not looking at those comments. Because if you have a post that goes viral, like we had one that went viral a few months ago, and it had a lot of comments on it. And I was just like, I'm not looking at this because it's not going to be anything good. And protect your peace.
So the funny thing about this is that Tamara's comment and also lack of explanation kind of feeds into another big trend that has been happening online, and you're going to start see happening more and more. And it's the concept of vague posting, which is on the rise. Now, that probably does sound very familiar because it's pretty self-explanatory. And obviously, we have lived through, vague booking, so people being cryptic in Facebook status updates, and also subtweeting, which is very similar. But apparently there's a difference here, and the key difference is that vague posting, according to Rolling Stone, quote, relies on knowing how people react when they don't understand something and exploiting that. So it is kind of like rage baiting and clickbaiting, but on a smaller level, because it's being done by people you might actually know in real life. And it is kind of strictly being done for the sake of engagement and to pique people's interest. So instead of getting clickbaited by news organizations, you're now getting clickbaited by, John Doe next door. And then the New York Times also talked about this too, like the idea of vague posting in relation to Tamara's comment. And I thought that this kind of really summed it up really nicely, because I think a lot of the jokes that you're starting to see come out of the internet in, even last year in 2025, but also probably going forward in 2026 is basically encompassed by this idea that, like, it's funny because there's no explanation. And if you're asking for an explanation, then you're like barking up the wrong tree. So the New York Times said, quote, "What does 6-7 mean? Much like 365 buttons, the answer depends on who you ask. And even then, it's almost entirely subjective. That's much to the delight of those who use the terms, gatekeeping them for select groups that understand the joke."
Yeah. And I think people like the attention, too. They like hearing from people to a point. Obviously, Tamara, the 365 buttons thing spun out of control, but I think it's nice to hear from people on your social media. And I don't know if people are thinking this deeply about it, but if people start engaging with your post, then the social media apps are going to start putting your post in front of more people.
So that is why you're starting to see this happen a lot on X. I think the three of us have kind of phased out of using X. I will still go on X or Twitter if you prefer to check in on pop culture stuff, because a lot of the fan base communities are still over there on X more so than on, Threads, which a lot of us have moved over to. And it's funny to watch people vague post just for fandom purposes. Instead of just saying what they mean, they'll be like, oh, like, can't believe that this person on this press junket tour had the audacity to say this thing. And you either need to sit there and think about connecting the dots based on the information that you yourself have seen, or you have to succumb to asking this person who might reply to you, but they also might not. And I could see how that's enraging, because it's like, why can't you just link to the interview and be like, gosh, can you believe this person actually had the audacity to say this? Like, It's so funny. But it's clearly being done for, like Andrew was saying, for engagement purposes.
Yeah. You do see a bunch. So I'm on X too, and I know what you're talking about. You do see this on Threads a lot as well. People have really thwarted Threads' algorithms. Like, if you post a really stupid statement on Threads, it will get a hell of a lot of attention. Like, if you ask a question that has the most obvious answer, people will flock to that post to give you the answer and call you an idiot. And people take advantage of that, and it works. I don't know if Threads will ever fix it. But another way I've been noticing vague booking over the last year or two is I've noticed it in the media on their social media channels. And I find this so annoying, where they will write kind of like a cryptic news story, and then you have to click into the comments to get the full details or the story link. So it'll be like, this major actor has signed on to an 8-part film series. And then you have to click into the comments to actually see what it is. And then they're, because the algorithm is seeing people clicking into the comments, it's going to start putting that in front of more people. Yeah. So we're seeing this not only from the everyday person, but from media as well.
And that is also, again, like it like, yes, it's annoying that media is partaking, but also that kind of has to do with the way that Elon has been changing the algorithm. Because I also heard that X is basically like they downgrade posts that include links. Like, so tweets with just a link will not show up as often for people in the discovery tabs.
Interesting.
And so it's actually, you would actually do better to create a thread and put the link in the second tweet.
And this is why people do it too.
Yeah, and it's fucking up a lot of like content creators too, because like, I follow a lot of like smaller like artists and stuff like that, digital artists, and they, are just, all they're trying to do is like link to their Patreon or link to their Coffee account so that they can get, maybe paid by people that like their work. And they now have to tease the work and then put another tweet in or add in another post that has like the actual link to the thing, just so that their post doesn't get hidden.
These platforms, Meta does this too. They don't want posts with links to be appearing in front of a lot of people because they don't want you leaving their platform.
Right. They want you to stay. So I don't think that any of us are really engaging in the practice of vague posting, but we did live through, like I was saying earlier, the age of vague booking and subtweeting, which obviously still happens. I'm sure vague booking happens a lot too, but I'm so far removed from Facebook these days that I don't see it. Was this kind of like the kind of behavior that we used to engage in ourselves, like whether we were posting about it or like curious enough to actually ask about what was going down?
I feel like the closest I got to vague booking was with my AOL Instant Messenger away message.
Oh, yeah.
Because that would usually be something cryptic or like song lyrics that were meant to imply something or that were targeted to a specific person. But I will confess that when I was younger, if I saw other people vague booking, I would be invested in the tea. And I would definitely like go down the rabbit hole of the comment section or trying to click around to other people's profiles who I thought might be involved because they would usually be vague booking too. So then you could like connect the dots on what was going on. So I was definitely more of a lurker in that regard and like less of a vague booker. But I was interested.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something I wish I did more of, or maybe I need to start doing it because clearly the algorithm rewards it. I need to start thinking about how to be a little more vague, or we should be doing it on the podcast.
That could be fun.
Like if we were to vague post about one of our 2026 goals, what would we say? Like, y'all remember, well, I won't even say what it was. I should have just been like, in 2026, I'm grabbing my pen and just leaving it at that, not explaining anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say something similar. I was just going to say putting pen to paper.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we're along the same lines.
In 2026, I'm letting it go.
Yep. In 2026, I explain nothing.
No further questions in 2026.
So what do we think Tamara was doing with the buttons? I was kind of thinking she was taking... Somebody speculated she was like stitching one onto her shirt every day for a year or something like that.
That means she's wearing the same shirt every day, though.
Well, okay, maybe.
I just assumed that she had like 2 jars and one jar had all the buttons and then every day she was moving one over.
That's what I thought as like a visual representation of the passage of time.
Yeah, but then I was like, maybe that's too simple. She did. I mean, like, listen, after I sat there and thought about it, like the possibilities really were endless. So I can understand why people were curious. And sometimes people just want to know so that maybe they think like, oh, that's a good idea, Tamara. Like, I want to do that too.
So and somebody in the TikTok comments did say that. They were like, we just want to know the details so it can maybe inspire us. But, and I hate to be another one piling on this person and criticizing what she's come up with. But I'm thinking if you're taking 365 buttons and you're one a day, you're putting them in the jar, one a day. Are you really noticing the passage of time? Because it's just a button a day. We were just talking about how when we see our dogs every day, we don't see them aging. So if you're only seeing one button go in every day, are you really marking the passage of time?
Well, I think so, because over the course of time, if you think about it as being 2 jars, the concentration of buttons in one jar is going to become lower and higher in the next. Think about the number of times.
One a day, it moves so slow.
Yeah, but think about the number of times. Like, just a month ago, we were like, how the hell is this year already over? It goes by fast.
Yeah. So I guess by the time you reach, like, you will literally see when you reach half the year because the buttons will be the same.
And then you'll,
assuming they're even in jars, maybe.
And then you can be
I love that we're doing a deep dive on this.
Into the existential dread of realizing, holy shit, the year is halfway over and I've accomplished nothing.
Yeah.
And what am I going to do with all these buttons when I'm done with this stupid experiment?
This does kind of remind me of like my in my digital planner. There's a bunch of trackers that you can opt to use, and you don't have to use them, but you can. And I do like using some of them, like the vitamin tracker, just so that I know like that I'm taking my vitamin every day. But there's also one that I thought I'm going to try this out this year. It's a mood tracker, and you can like color coordinate it however you want. I thought to myself, like, this might actually be really helpful because sometimes it's really easy to think like I have like more bad days than I have good days. But if you literally track that, right, like today was a good day or like today was a bad day, and you're subjective about it every day, then by, the end of the year, you probably will find that like the amount of bad days you had was probably a lot smaller than you thought. It's just that bad always feels bigger. So
yeah.
I like that.
That kind of reminds me of something like that.
I need to start doing that, Pam, because I had...
Hey, you could do it because it's still early.
Yeah, well, I had this revelation in therapy the other day because my therapist was asking me, what have you been doing to, like, make new friends and, like, have other plans outside of, like, your home and your work and podcasting and stuff. And initially, I was like, oh, God, I really haven't done much. But then I started listing things off of like all these plans that I've had with people. And I've had a few people over to visit over the course of the last month. And I've gone places and I've done parties and things. And she was like, see, like you're doing really well. But it can be so easy, like you said, Pam, to really hyper focus on the negatives of life and kind of miss out on what's going well for you. So I need to start doing that.
And this ties nicely into what we were just talking about with looking back to 2016 in our camera rolls, because we really only took pictures of the good stuff.
Right.
So it's like, oh, well, a lot of good stuff did happen in 2016. Like in the moment, maybe 2016 didn't feel like the greatest year ever, but looking back, it's no regrets, baby. Just fond memories.
Yeah.
On a related note, just to update everybody briefly, I said I'm going to start journaling in 2026. I haven't done the best job with that yet. I would like to do it more regularly. I haven't kept up with it as much as I would like to.
Well, hey, it's still early.
Holding my...
Yeah, it's only the
Good
20th.
point. We are so inspirational today.
Right?
I'm just holding myself accountable. Andrew, do better.
Honestly, you should just like develop a routine for yourself and time it. So say like, I'm going to do 30 minutes of journaling every day, every other day, whatever feels right for you, and just pick
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Like that's...
Oh, God.
We all have 30 minutes somewhere in our day.
My hand is going to fall off if I write for 30 minutes.
Well, it doesn't mean that you have to write for the whole time. You could be thinking.
Yeah.
How about this? Every Tuesday during the podcast, I'll sit here quietly for 5 minutes. Laura and Pam will talk, and I'll just sit here. Dear diary.
You could also
Today.
I mean, if you're having, I don't know if you have like plans for it, but I think an easy way to do it is just to like come up with like a format for yourself.
Yeah, I
Because
just
then
want to
you're
do
answering
short.
like 5 questions, every day.
Yeah.
Or
And
like
then you can see
bullet
how that
journal.
changes. Yeah.
That's kind of what I want to do. Just short little updates about what's been going on. Because what I want to ultimately do is just be able to look back and see what I was doing in my day-to-day life. The more interesting stuff, of course. Just to be able to look back and be like, oh, wow. Just like we're talking about with the camera roll, being able to look back and be like, oh, yeah, that was happening. This was happening, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Are you two off to a good start with your goals? Is it too early to have this discussion?
Probably too early.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
But I'm making some headway.
Yeah, that I will say I agree with that, but nothing crazy to report on yet.
Yeah. I think I did say I wanted to prioritize traveling a little bit more this year, and I've made some strides to like kind of loosely plan that out. So that's good. We'll see how that goes.
I'm thinking getting back to this passage of time thing to mark the passage of time. I'm looking at the Labubu behind me in the shot. Like, what if I just move it like a millimeter every day, and it slowly shifts
could do
over
that.
for the course of the year? That would be kind of fun if I can remember to do that. I'm gonna shift it right now.
Every day.
I did it. Listeners, let us know your thoughts on today's discussion. You can email millennialshow@gmail.com. You can DM us on social. You can leave a comment on Spotify or YouTube. Also, don't forget, we would appreciate your support at patreon.com/millennial. In After Dark this week, we're going to be reflecting on 11 years of the podcast. And if you enjoy the show, we would love a review in your favorite podcast app. Time for some recommendations. I had resisted the cleaning company Stanley Steamer. I'm sure we're all aware of them for the longest time, but being a dog owner, there's been some accidents on rugs, and while we were gone, I think Finn ran through Brooklyn's pee on the ground and then jumped up on the couch, so the couch was getting a little funky. So, did a deep clean on the couch, but also sent a rug away with Stanley Steamer for them to deep clean it, and they like let it soak in a tank and stuff. They do a really deep clean on it. It came back, it looks like a brand new rug. Like, it makes the other rugs look crappy now. It's so much brighter looking than the other two that are very similar in the same space. So I would just recommend, especially here at the start of the year, if you want to freshen up your space, a good investment is doing one of these deep cleans on a rug, especially if you have pets.
Good call.
This is adulting, recommending rug cleaning.
Well, I'll do you one better and just say don't have rugs. If you can avoid, I have no rugs. I don't have carpet. I don't have rugs. I don't like them. They, to your point, they get dirty. They contain allergens. Like, I don't want to deal with it. No can do.
One goal I'm setting for myself going forward is only machine washable rugs, couches with machine washable covers, stuff like that. Like, everything needs to be washable. Otherwise, I'm not buying it.
Do you are you confident enough to like throw your rugs into your own washing machines? Because I'm always worried about like the load capacity. But I guess even if you have to take it out to the laundromat, it's not too bad.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I also started buying a couple of smaller ruggable rugs, and they are well known for the fact that they're all machine washable. So yeah. I'm comfortable with ones that say they're machine washable.
Yeah, for sure. I've heard good things about ruggable though, in general.
Yeah, they're great. Costco has them from time to time too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to recommend a show that I was so late to the game on, The Pitt on HBO Max. So I finally got around to watching this, and it is so, so good. And what I love about it is it's pretty, I don't want to say it's an easy show to watch because it can be kind of intense. I wouldn't recommend like binging a whole bunch of episodes in a row, but the entire season is just one day. So each episode is 1 hour of an emergency room shift. So it is pretty easy to get through. If you're like me and you're late to the game on The Pitt, season 2 is out now. They're only the first couple episodes of the season. So I think it's still pretty reasonable to feel like you can get caught up so you can watch the current season, but it is really, really good. And the other day, I will say, I very nearly accidentally ripped my septum ring out. I did not. I managed to not hurt myself or damage the jewelry, but in the moment when I was like in the mirror, like cursing what was happening to me because it was very painful, I was like, I need Dr. Robbie to come and fix this.
Oh boy. Signs you've been watching too much Pitt.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask if you had a favorite character, but I guess it's Dr. Robbie.
So, no, I mean, I love him, but honestly, I think my favorite so far is Mel. I really
That's
like
my favorite
her.
too. She's a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Love her.
Well, definitely +1 this rec. And I also have to ask you, so you are fully caught up? You saw episode 2 of season 2?
I'm not done with the second episode yet.
Did you see the jump scare yet in episode 2?
No, I'm guessing not.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Pam?
I don't know. I don't know what. Texted me to me because I have seen season 2, but I don't. Oh, yes,
Can I say it?
yes. Well, I just remembered what you said, and I
don't know if it's a spoiler or not. All right. When you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I'm literally
gonna.
when we finish here, I'm gonna go finish the second episode. So
I fell out of my chair. I fell out of my chair.
Felt like I knew it was coming, and I didn't, and then I still was shocked.
Yeah, well, it was. Yeah, I mean, it was quite shocking, even if you're prepared for it.
I know. I actually have a show to recommend that is also on HBO Max as well. It's the Like Water for Chocolate miniseries. So the first season is out already, and season 2 is coming next month, I believe. This is the latest adaptation of Laura Esquivel's 1989 novel of the same name. For anybody who doesn't know, this is like a magical realism romance drama, and it's all set against the Mexican Revolution. So if you're looking for a period drama to watch, this is a good one. It's like so beautiful. And basically, it tells the story of this family, and it's a mother with 3 daughters, and she like hates one of the daughters, but one of the daughters, that daughter specifically, is like really good in the kitchen. And the magical realism comes in to play when she cooks, because everything that she makes like takes on the feeling and the emotion that she had when she was preparing the dish. So if you like, again, like period dramas or things that are just like where the cinematography revolves around food and you get all these really beautiful food shots and stuff like that, like this is maybe something that might be up your street. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this a lot. Super excited for season 2. The book I haven't read in a while, but I remember really enjoying it as well. So yeah. And you can watch it with the original Spanish audio, but they do have a dubbed version if you just really can't deal with subtitles. But I ended up watching this also as a way to like, I try and every once in a while like immerse myself a little bit more in Spanish because I feel like I'm losing my Spanish, and so it's helpful to have a TV show where like you're hearing it if you don't have somebody to practice with. So yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. After Dark starts in a moment for patrons and Apple Podcast subscribers. I'm Andrew.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Pamela.
Bye everyone.
Bye.